Good evening, Rebel Rooster model viewers. It's good old Terry coming at you on this 22nd day of January in 2022. Should be 2 years better than 2020 was, huh? Kind of a bummed out day today. Brought my daughter out to the airport, sent her back to school out in the East Coast after having her for 3 weeks here. And, you know, she's one of those really spirited people, really loud. Kind of like me, really loud and expressive, and it's really quiet around the house now, and we're all kind of bummed out. We're gonna miss her, but anyway, we'll see her again in 5 months, I guess. But anyhow, they gotta grow up sometime, right? Huh? So anyway, while I pretend to not be depressed about that, let's get into this video here. I had you a very nice video put together. You probably saw the first installment on how to make a cheapish model into a really good looking one, and I had it done pretty good. And then my video editing software, Filmora, took a great big flush the toilet twice crap on it. And the only way to get that thing to do anything was to uninstall it and reinstall it. And of course, all the files and videos go away with that. So I thought, oh, okay, I'll just have to start over. I'll download the files from, you know, the video clips from the phone again. And the update that came after reinstallment is, I don't know what the hell these people are thinking. But anyway, I've got it. The only way to get the videos off my phone to my computer, because my computer doesn't have the codec and all this other computer crap about you can't download an iPhone because this is a Windows operating system, you know, all that other stuff. Anyway, Filmora is supposed to make that import, and it was easy while it worked at first. Now, unless I download all 14,700 and something pictures and videos from my phone to my laptop, which because it's solid state drive has limited storage, unless I can't, which I don't have the space to hold everything for, unless I unload all that stuff onto it, I can't get the files off my phone. So I'm trying to figure that out, but I guess I'm gonna have to get a portable drive just for videos eventually. But that's a kind of a letdown, man, because that wasn't the cheap editing program, and it worked nice till it didn't work. You know, nothing happens till it happens, right? So anyway, let me let you know what's been going on. Otherwise, I got a few models to show you here. 2 zeros and a P47. Paint experiments, trying some new paints, tried painting figures, tried some texturing with bombs, and just some painting techniques on these things. I wanted to see how they turned out, and I'm pretty pleased with the way these, at least the paint jobs, came out with. I didn't put much effort into the models themselves, but the paint jobs I'm pretty happy with. I've learned a couple things on here, and now when I get into the better kits that I really care about, like the Tamiyas and the high-end Hasegawas and a handful of trumpeters, I can really get through them without having to, you know, paint, look at it, say I don't like it, and strip it and do it again. So anyway, we're going to be doing those things with these models here, and that's about it. What's upcoming very soon, you guys have been telling you guys, oh, we're going to do advanced airbrushing stuff. Well, it's time. I've got this, oops, there we go. You can turn back over, folks. The Hobby Boss Easy Assembly Series BF109 in 1/48 scale. We're going to do this one, and the reason we're going to do a BF109 is because if you're wanting to try paint things out, those Luftwaffe aircraft are perfect for it. They come in solid, they come flat, they come nude, they got mottling, they got splinters, camouflaging, hard demarcation, soft, anything you want to do, you can do on these except bare metal finishes. But we've got US aircraft for that, and some Japanese aircraft too. But this one is going to be great for trying panel line shading, you know, different variations in paint tones, the mottling. We get to mess around with the MAC valve a little bit. So this is going to be a really quick, easy one to build. I imagine if it's a Hobby Boss, it's probably got like 8 pieces. So it'll be a quick build. Do me a favor if you would. Just let me know in the comments, is this something you want to do the build with me, where you want to watch me build it as we go, or would you rather me just put the darn thing together and get right down to the boogie woogie of the painting? So anyway, enough of all this talk, and let's get some action and look at the planes I've been working on. Okay, so here's what I've been working on towards the end of last year and into early this year. Where's my pointing pencil? Here we are. If you're old enough to have remembered Fulton Sheen's show with his blackboard, that's kind of like me with my pointing pencil here. Anyway, this actually was done a couple of years ago. It's Tamiya 148's A6M5C0, and this is another one of the very same kit. This is a Tamiya 148 A6M, I think it's a 3 Hamp, and of course this is the P47 put out by Hasegawa. The reason I brought the old one out is because I want to, when I get to this here, I want to show you the paint differences on these, what made them different, why they look different, even though it's the same kit. We'll talk a little bit about the metal I did on the P47, and then we'll just kind of show you the other Zero, not much to it. But let's start zooming these out here. I'm going to move this camera stand and we'll get looking at each one individually. Okay, so let's start with the simplest of them. This is the A6M3 Hamp. It's an old Tamiya kit. Gave it a nice, kind of a semi-gloss. I painted this with a mix of paints. I used the Mr. Color lacquer and I mixed it with some Tamiya acrylics. And they do actually mix together well if you use a lacquer thinner to put them together. Polished the plastic really good, so it has kind of a, I wouldn't say glossy, I wouldn't say, it's a little more than semi-gloss, but less than gloss paint finish. And it just really gave it a nicer look to it. Just did a very little bit of pre-shading and painting it in different tones, so you could kind of see where it was pre-shaded, but it's not so pre-shaded that it looks bad. I made my own custom mix with different blues and blacks to get this Japanese cowl color, which a lot of people paint black, but it actually is a mix of blacks and blues, and because of the limitations of my phone, you really can't see how much different it looks, but it does make a difference. Something that people tend to miss on these gray-green Zeros is they make the whole thing one color, but the flight control surfaces, that's the ailerons, the elevators, and the rudder, are actually a different shade of gray. So when someone puts one of these together and you see this, you kind of know somebody who put that together kind of knows their business about Japanese aircraft. And the only reason I know it is because somebody else pointed out the mistake I made before of painting it all the same color. I ventured into painting figures for a change. It's the first time I've tried it before, but this is the first time I really put any effort into it. And it's going to be kind of hard to see them because of all the different frames on the canopy glass, but you can kind of see them in there. It's not a terrible job, it's not a great job, but for a first and a half time, I'm pretty okay with it. Now for the stand, just kind of drill a hole, and you can do it the smart way. I got this idea actually from Sean over at Primed Model Works. What I didn't do is make the hole first, because I kind of decided after I started assembly to put these on a stand, and the problem is when you do it afterwards is you mess this up here. And what I did is I drilled the hole and I put a straw in there, and you can get this acrylic rod here on Amazon, and it just fits in there like so. And you can put it on, take it off all you want. You can pose it in all these different ways. You can do all kinds of neat things with it. These decals, I've been wondering about these a long time. I always used to put them on because they just looked cool, and I one day kind of tried to figure out how to do it, and I got the old Google Translate app or whatever it is, and it highlights and puts the words of what they meant. It still made no sense. So I talked to a buddy of mine out in Japan, and he told me that it's actually information on who donated to make the airplane possible. So just a little interesting factoid for you. So when you're at the bar, you can tell somebody that. It makes you look smart. But this was an easy one to put together, pretty simple. And when you're doing these early Zeros like this one, you got the choice. You can really weather the heck out of it and make it look kind of clean like this one. I wanted this to look pretty nice and clean. Two reasons. One, it made the build faster, and two, you really didn't see a whole lot of these weathered up terribly. Now what I did didn't do here, you can see I didn't put the counterbalance weights up here. I didn't put the nose steps. I didn't do anything with the nav lights. I did use a canopy mask, which is the only reason the canopy looks that decent. And some people are going to say I'm missing the IFF stripes, but actually they were not on this one. So that's an interesting little thing there too for you. Now the stand itself, I got these at a trade show, local trade show, for 50 cents a piece. I lucked out. But you can find these on, all you got to do is search your favorite place to buy things online and just type in trophy display stand and you can get these pre-finished. It's super smooth, and you can get them from there, or you can get this very same type of block of wood out there at your local craft store. Like I get mine at the one that's closed on Sundays, and you can sand it really smooth and then stain it and do that with it. So there's really not much to the stand, and I just made these really quick and easy, chop chop, you know. So some people, they get the heat gun, and I do it with my better ones where I really want it to look nice, and you can get a heat gun and melt that acrylic rod to go in different directions and all this other stuff. And what I'm going to do next, the next time I put a stand together and I build a couple zeros that I really put effort in, is I'm going to do that with the acrylic rods, where I can get two of them and I'm going to have them kind of flying in a formation like this. I think that would look pretty cool. But anyway, that's later on. Like so many things in life, I'm going to do it later, right? Okay, again, same kit here. I wanted to pose it in flight again. I got lazy. I didn't want to deal with landing gear again. But here's the first one I did a couple years ago. Now, this is the same kit. This is also the same paint color, believe it or not. The big difference, and I really hope you can see this on the camera. It's kind of hard to do because my lighting is very harsh, and it really doesn't show you all the fine little things that you can see to the eye on the camera because everything reflects off it. But you can see this is the same paint color. The difference is that I really put the effort in polishing the plastic on this one before putting it on. And you can see, I mean, this doesn't look bad. This looks much better. So you can see the difference it makes, just an extra step in what you're doing. But anyway, let me put this back on the stand really quick here. And we'll look at the old one first. This one's the one where I did a couple things that I didn't do on the other, like the paint chipping on the leading edge. I can see that over here a little better. I painted I did on both of them, the little indicator here that when the gear is down, it pushes a little piece of metal up that's painted red so the pilot can look down and see that his gear is down. Problem with the other one is that even though the gear is up, I also painted it red here when I should have sawed it off. But, you know, hindsight, right? Did a little weathering on the side, a little bit of chipping around where we'd walk and work on the gun bay doors and everything. And I just knocked off a cannon, but it doesn't matter. Forwarded around, just tried a couple little things on the bottom for later on, you know, oil work and stuff like that, just goofing around with it. Got the counterbalance weights on this one like they should be right here. I've got the nav lights done on this one where they should all be. And the cannons, -1 because I just broke this little guy off this side, but I'll put it back on shortly. And then again, same kit here, just much better paint job. Used canopy masks on it, and here's Mr. Pilot again. Let me see if I can zoom in here for you, get a better look at him. Because this one's glass is a little cleaner than the other. But you can see, I got a lot of scratches on there. The camera always tattles on you. When you get where you're looking at your model and you think it looks pretty good, just take pictures of it and you'll find all of your errors and mistakes. But there he is in there. Not terrible, acceptable. I'd give this thing a C. And the same thing, I drilled the hole afterward, but luckily this did not give me any trouble. It held up there pretty nicely. And what I did, you'll notice that this is the scourge of every zero builder's existence, is this fit right here, because when you get under there, you always have that stupid hump or that step off. And all you got to do to kind of take care of that is, when you got the wing assembly put together, sand right in here in this pocket, and then it can get nice and snug up against the fuselage. and you won't have that step occur to you. It'll be just like it should be, with nothing but smooth across. Not much else to it. Again, this one's got the blue and black mixture of paint for the cowl, and I'm going to see if I can stick the two of these together where you can see the difference. I don't know if you can see the difference in color there. I'm hoping you can, but the blue-black mix just really looks better than regular old black does. So that takes care of the zeros. And then there's the P47. That's the last one. Oh, you probably noticed on this one, just really quick, again, I didn't put the steps on it. I didn't put the cannons on at all. I've got the gear indicator as if the gear is down, but the gear is actually up. And I didn't mess with the nav lights at all. This was, this is just a quick paint experiment. And here's a P47 I did. I love me some P47s. It's my very favorite airplane. And very close second place is the good old Corsair. But I wanted this one to look kind of, not dull, but not shiny. P47s tend to have a unique look to their metal. I don't know if it's just the way that they just always happen to hit the camera or what it was, but a Mustang is always either nice and shiny or it's worn to death. And P47s tended to just kind of have this look to them. They weren't dull, but they weren't shiny. And it was a multi-step process with the metal on this one. The first thing I did, of course, was I got the GX. I polished the plastic really, really good, which wasn't too hard because Asagawa already gives you pretty good plastic. But there goes my pencil too. But I've got the B team here. Anyway, the plastic was polished really nicely, and then I put the Mr. Hobby GX2, Mr. Color GX2 over the bare plastic after it was polished. It's a really great gloss. It's my favorite metal base for black. And then I sprayed it with, I think it's SM206. It's Mr. Colors Super Metallics SM206. And then, and I'm going to skip a few steps or I'd be here all night telling you what I did. This was like a 3-day paint job. Did different layers of metal, and then what I did was I got the Mac valve on my airbrush here, this little guy here, and I usually 90% of the time I shoot with this thing wide open, but now this is where it's really handy. I closed it most of the way and just made it with some super thin paint where instead of a nice steady spray pattern, it was spitting out hundreds of little droplets of paint, and that made all these different dots. And I used some with SM201, which is another metallic, some with Mr. Metal Color Aluminum, some Mr. Metal Color Chrome Silver, and I buffed those up really quick, and then I binded it with one more light coat of SM206. Then of course the wash, then the satin coat, then the gloss, decals, all of their crap. And I ended up getting, when you look really, really close here, and I hope I don't get this out of focus, but if you look, you can see, yeah, this is about as good as I'm going to get up close with you before I either bump into the camera or lose the focus. But you can kind of see thousands and thousands of ever so tiny little dots on the shaky camera here as I move it around of different sheen. There you can kind of see it good by that big old scratch. You can also see that I left the decal fluid on the decal too long and it's got pit marks, but it's just neither here nor there. And it really shows up well more on the cowling than anywhere else. Let me pull the prop off really quick because there's just a thing that holds it in. But where you can really see this nicely is on the cowling. You can see all those little dots. It almost looks, see what I mean? I hope you can. But anyway, nice metal job on it. It came out pretty good. Not reflective, but not dull and lifeless either. And these are the micro scale decals, which surprisingly didn't break in a million pieces like they usually do. And what I did for this is instead of using the decal, I painted the tail blue. And I got some frisket film, laid it over the decal, got the knife out, cut the lightning bolts out, put the film over here, and then painted the yellow for the stripes. And that's how that came out, and I think it looks really, really nice. I think it looks better than a decal would. Now, in hindsight, it would have been smarter to actually have painted the whole tail yellow and then just put lightning bolts over it that are cut out, but you know, I'm kind of, sometimes I'm a little bit of a horse's butt and I think of things a little bit late. Just ever so little bit of wear, just like a little bit of metal chipping up here on the anti-glare, but I didn't do much in the area of weathering. One thing I'll point out though, if I can get the camera to help me out here, and I can get this under the light properly, give me 1 second here, is I was really kind of impressed with their instrument panel. Let me go full zoom, see if I can get this up there for you. I don't know how well you can see that instrument panel. I hope you can. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see it too well, but their instrument panel is really nice in this thing. It's got good detail, and I was able to just paint it with a mix of rubber black and flat black. Then I dry brushed it to get the instrument detail on there, and the surface detail is really, I mean, it's really pretty darn good. And then I just put a dot of Mod Podge on it, and that gave each dial the gloss, but it also made it look darker because it had depth to it. And I used Mod Podge, and I used the gloss Mod Podge. I used that instead of, say, X22 or Aqua Gloss or something, because it's really nice and thick, and you got a lot better control over where it's going when you apply it. And it's easy to wash off if you screw it up. Now, true to all metal finishes, you can see, no matter how good you prepare it, you're going to find things you do wrong later. So if you're doing metal work for serious, like I'll do occasionally, take lots of pictures of your model and look at the pictures instead of your model, because the pictures will show you everything. Because once that metal coat's on, man, this is going to tattle on you. Every little blemish you got in there, it's going to tattle on you. I mean, this little tiny scratch, I mean, it looks like a huge gouge because there's metal on it. If I had painted it a regular color like this, you wouldn't even know it was there. But the key thing with good metal work is plastic preparation. And what I did with the landing light here, it's kind of hard to see because the light's pointing away from me, but I just got a little bare metal file, pushed it from the inside when I was putting the wing together, got a Q-tip, rolled it up in there so it had a nice concave or convex, whatever it is, Con Air. And that makes a nice shiny silver reflection under there. The bombs, I went ahead and tried my hand at texturing the bombs. Let me get this over here. There you go. So you can see the bombs have some texture to them instead of being slick and smooth. If you've ever seen these things, like if you're at an air museum or something, you'd see that they've got texture. It almost looks like cement. And I got that little trick from Night Shift. He's an armor guy, so there's not a whole lot you can carry over to aircraft from it, but the basics of some of his techniques like that are stupendous. And what I did was I just mixed, and again, this was learned from him. I got this old Tester's putty, which goes way back in modeling history, and I mixed it with Tamiya Extra Thin, and then I just did what he said, get the brush and just keep tapping at it, and then sand it smooth after it's dried, and it really gave nice texture. These bombs really brings them to life, even with a bad circle on them. So, and something else I did, I really kind of like when I did how this turned out. I'm going to move the camera so I can get over the white part to let you see this better. You're going to want to have a light background against it. Is the landing lights. You see how that looks there? Not the landing lights, I'm sorry, the nav lights. Here you are, position lights as some call them, but navigation lights. You see how that's got a little red bulb inside of here. And what I did with that was I just got, a lot of people love their Dremels. I'm not crazy about them because they only have 2 speeds, and that's too fast and way too fast. You don't get a lot of control with them. So I went on Cramizon and got me one of these cheapo, no-name tools. And it gives you 5 different speeds, you know. And I put on the lowest speed, and I just very carefully, with a set of these, which I also got off Cramizon, and they're cheap. They're cheap. You get 6 of these, I think, 5 or 6 of these packs for, I think it was $10. And the reason is because these very fine ones, they break so easy. I mean, they're not much thinner than a human hair. Not that I would know anything about having hair, but my wife has hair, so, you know. Anyway, so what I did was I got that, put it on the lowest speed, and I drilled into the back of the nav light very, very slowly. And then with a toothpick, I pushed clear red in this one. And then when I attached it, I used aqua gloss to act as my cement. And I think that looks pretty darn cool, see? Same thing with the other side, except I used blue. These days it would be green, but back then you'd see a lot of these things colored blue because the filaments were really dim, and that yellowish glow with that blue actually made the light appear green. That's a little known factoid, another thing you can take to the bar with you to make yourself look smart. Something else on these zeros, just let me back up a second here, you're going to see periodically someone who doesn't put their antenna in, or it'll look like it broke off. And here's another one for you to take to the bar and look smart. The radios were really kind of crappy in those things. The Japanese usually didn't do much communicating via radio, so they would saw that antenna off, because why would you have the drag of an antenna for a radio that doesn't work when you just saw that antenna off and get an extra 5 or 6 knots out of the airplane, which 5 or 6 knots in a dogfight can be the difference between, you know, going back to the base at the end of the day, or everybody taking your possessions and mailing them to your surviving relatives, you know. So anyway, that's pretty much what I've been up to. And, you know, so far as flaws and stuff, well, you saw my scratches and the plastic and stuff. The other thing is, you know, you can see I unwittingly threw away the sprues before I was completely done, and I forgot about the cannons, or not cannons, blast tubes for the cannons. And I had to cut my own, and you can see they point in 8 different directions. But, you know, it's just, this isn't something I was concerned about. This isn't something I'm going to show off. It was just to get good at the metal work, so when I take out the Tamiya P47s, they'll actually look good, because I'll know what I'm doing paint-wise. Hard to see it, but I got a pretty good chew mark on the canopy right here, where getting manhandled with all the shipping and everything, it worked its way off the tree, off the sprue, and I could probably have sanded that out and made it look nice. But, you know, like I said, these were just kind of, I would do that for a Tamiya kit, but not for a cheap one like this. Underneath, not much to show you underneath except the lights were there. I got the position lights over here. Just used some clear paint, and the clear paints I used the Tamiya acrylics for those. They're my favorite clear paints. They tend to stay fat, and so I didn't need to put the lenses on. They just kind of leveled themselves out there nicely. And something else, the unique P47 green, it's not going to show up because the lights are not going to be able to get up in the cockpit to where you can see them, but a lot of people use the wrong shade of green inside these P47s, and it did vary a bit, but the one you'll see most is this really odd looking green. And what I do with those is I've got this custom mix I made for P47s. It's kind of hard to see it, but there it is. Let me zoom in, maybe I can get you a better look at it. There's the dry part, it looks like. And if you're not into mixing your own colors, you can get pretty close by using this AK 264 RC 264. That's another color that comes really close to it. The P47s had their own thing going on with the cockpit color. That it wasn't until I built a few of them and got to looking at pictures I realized that that regular chromate that I use for all the other US aircraft just wasn't right. So I ended up mixing my own. So that's pretty much what I've been up to, just doing these 4 here. And that's about it. We'll talk a bit more about what's coming up next after this short break. Okay, so here's what we're going to be building next. I don't know if we're going to build this together or not. Maybe y'all could do me a favor and put in the comments whether you'd like to see it that way, where we build this together, or if I just kind of build it and then get right into the painting. Because I really don't know what I do is I get interested in a particular kit, and I like to watch the builds, but not everybody does. So do me a favor, go ahead and show me in the comments what you guys would rather do. But anyway, it's this little Hobby Boss easy assembly authentic authentic kit. Man, that's, I mean, this thing isn't just a kit. It's authentic, man. Anyway, it's got, neat little stuff. It's got a, hey, buy more stuff from us catalog here. Hey, only 1, 2, no, I'm just kidding. It ain't that easy. Anyway, the instructions, you know, every kid has instructions. Nothing special about those. And then another, hey, buy this from us, and, you know, we'll do nothing for you thing there. Well, it's packed well. I mean, it gives me several different canopies, and none of them are crushed. They're all nice and tidy here. And it does look like easy assembly. I mean, actually, you know what? I'm kind of impressed with this thing. Look at it. It's got, I don't know if you can see this, but it's actually got some riveting on the kit here. Not just lines, but it's actually got the rivets on it, which I'm pretty impressed with. That's not bad. I'm kind of impressed with this Hobby Boss kit so far. The panel looks pretty bare. It's got circles. I can deal with that. And then you just got these basic things. And the, hey, nice wheels. You know what? I'm really, there's not much to that. Ooh, guns too. Decal sheet looks really nice. I'll be honest with you, man. I wasn't expecting something this good. Now how it's going to fit, that's going to be another story when we start building. But for an easy assembly kit by Hobby Boss, I wasn't expecting much. And I'm kind of impressed so far. I'm going to say that. Because the only other experience I've got with Hobby Boss is this little 1/72 P38 I bought a while ago and haven't built. But when I opened it up and I saw this, I was kind of like, oh, come on, man. Is there anything to put together? My gosh, this is like the old, who used to build those snap tights? Was that Monogram or Revell, if you remember those? So I wasn't really expecting something this good out of Hobby Boss. I'm pretty happy with that. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, we're going to put this one together. We're probably going to do, I don't know, I like the rooster head on this one, but I kind of like the prop on this one with the two colors, the blue and the black. And they both got mottling, so yeah, I'm going to do this one, I think, 'cause it's got some yellow. We can do a lot of stuff with the airbrushing and show you some tricks with that. So that's what we'll be doing. Again, I don't know if we're going to do it together. Just do me a favor again, let me know that in the comments. And speaking of comments, you know, there's not much to this video, but hey, you can always like and subscribe. Tell a friend, make a friend, tell them to like and subscribe. Anyhow, we're going to get all this stuff put together, get my bench ready, and launch into this in a day or two. I've got a group build I'm kind of putting together on one of the Facebook groups I'm in, and it's my first group build. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to find out the hard way if I'm doing a good job or not, because you know, modelers are very vocal people, and they always let you know if you're not good at something or they don't like what you're doing. But anyway, there's pretty much what I've been doing. This is kind of like what I did on my summer vacation, except it was December version by Terry. So anyway, hey guys, thanks for watching. I will see you very shortly. Sorry I couldn't get you that other video. I'm trying my best to salvage that project and see if I can get it out there for you. But anyway, we'll talk to y'all later, and we'll see you then.